Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca Johnson with Obsolete News, and thank you for taking the time to be with us. Before we start, our executive team here at Obsolete would like to ask our audience to exercise a little patience with us here today. Artificial intelligence is accelerating at a rapid pace, but still limited as of today. Couple that with the insufficient resources made available for our broadcast, and you get the perfect recipe for an inconsistent virtual world. Second, and perhaps most importantly, the person I'm set to interview momentarily has been dead for more than 5 years. For some, that's more than enough for you, the viewer, to discount this piece as AI slop. You'll ask yourself, how could someone expect me to watch an interview of someone who is no longer alive? It's a good point, but we'd like to counter that question with one of our own. Why would anyone pay anything for a digital code? With that said, I'm being told that we're now connected. Good afternoon, Mr. Madoff. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
No problem. Happy to be here.
To start, let's dive into your recent decision to upgrade Microstrategy stock to a buy. It has raised a lot of eyebrows. What made you decide to take this position?
Well, the market's a funny thing, as you know. I've been following Microstrategy for a while now. What caught my attention was their significant Bitcoin holdings.
So, you're saying that Microstrategy's Bitcoin holdings are the primary reason behind your upgrade?
Bitcoin isn't just a speculative asset anymore. It's becoming a store of value. And with inflation concerns lingering, the company has positioned itself well. Microstrategy is a classic case of having the right balance of risk and reward. They're not just sitting on Bitcoin, they're actively integrating it into their strategy.
And how exactly are they doing this, Mr. Madoff?
It's pretty simple, actually. They issue company stock for paper money, and they take that paper money and purchase digital codes.
How do you respond to critics who argue that betting on Bitcoin, especially as a corporate asset, is highly risky? Many would say it's far too volatile to be considered a stable investment for a company.
Yes, it swings wildly, up and down, but that volatility has been part of its success. Early investors in Bitcoin saw massive returns despite the ups and downs. MicroStrategy's approach has been more about holding, not trading. They've taken a long-term view, and they have enough capital reserves to ride out any short-term volatility. To help illustrate my point, I'd like for you to take a moment and pull up the graphic I sent you prior to our interview. Do you have that available, Becky?
Don't call me Becky. But we do have your graphic up, and it's now available to the viewing public.
Perfect. Now, as you can see, this isn't necessarily my greatest work.
Really, why would you say that?
Under my present circumstances, I'm forbidden to have anything sharp in my possession, so I'm limited to scratch paper and crayons. But as you can see by the illustration, early adopters to Bitcoin had first mover advantage. A handful of miners, investors, and Dungeons and Dragons players got in early.
You're right, Mr. Madoff. Your illustration does show an exorbitant number of bag holders. But I must ask, based on your illustration and how you define the current ownership structure of Bitcoin, it kind of looks and sounds a bit like a pyramid scheme.
I don't see it that way, Rebecca. I liken it more to Reaganomics and trickle-down policy. I mean, look at this thing. So many people holding so many bags of money, sprinkling tons and tons of infinite money to the people at the bottom. Oh, and please call me Bernie.
No. It seems like you're suggesting that Bitcoin is providing more stability than traditional assets in some respects. But I have to ask, given your past experience in the financial world, do you believe that there's an element of speculation in Microstrategy's thesis?
Speculation is a part of any market, whether it's stocks, bonds, or even real estate. But it's important to distinguish speculation and informed risk-taking. For example, I look back through my career as president of Bernie Madoff Investment and Securities. We took a keen interest in protecting our original investors by seeking value in asset classes that were beyond conventional. We sought to extract value from new stakeholders in markets that we were able to penetrate successfully. We did this typically through the myth of scarcity. It was considerably difficult to become a client of mine. Once you were, you felt privileged. Everything worked perfectly, and I'd still be in business today if my investors hadn't asked for their money back.
Let's step away from Bitcoin for a moment. Tell me how you've been doing as of late.
Well, I've seen better days, Rebecca. At the trial, it was clear to everyone that lead prosecutor was out to get me. Like when he presented our financial statements as evidence, calling them juvenile and something that a second grader could put together. All because they were written in pencil on loose leaf paper. My penmanship is far greater than that of a 7-year-old. Then there was the pity party presented to the jury. The prosecution presented thousands of my former investors, falsely referring to them as victims, and argued that I defrauded them out of billions of dollars. One investor took the stand crying, and I quote, "I don't know what I'm going to do. I had my whole life savings invested in Bernie Madoff's fund, and now it's all gone." When they asked me where it was, I told them how could I know while vacationing at my beach house in Montauk for the better part of the year. I knew I would never get a fair trial. As soon as I was shipped down to Butner, the warden immediately took advantage of my experience as president of a large financial institution. I was promoted within a week from restroom superintendent to laundry. As you're likely to guess, the positive impact of this decision was felt immediately throughout the prison. I'm told almost daily about how the sheets have never been so fresh. I've made a couple of friends, my cellmate Madrigo for one. He tells me there's a need to always keep an eye on me, so I feel safe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Madoff, for your insights today. I'm sure your perspective will give our audience plenty to think about.
My pleasure. Always happy to offer a viewpoint.